Hello, Pedro. I have come across a situation that requires our immediate attention, and I was hoping you could help me with it.
Of course. Anytime the Director of HR wants to meet with me, I make myself available.
We have an employee who has disclosed they have been diagnosed with a health issue that will require a great deal of accommodation on our part.
The Bank of Ryerson operates in accordance with the order. We have ensured that our branches are accessible, our tellers will count out money for our blind and low-vision customers, and we have notepads and pens available for those who are deaf. Whatever we have to do to accommodate this situation will be within the realm of possibility.
Pedro, recently an employee disclosed to me that they are HIV positive.
They have AIDS?
No, they are HIV positive. There is a difference. HIV is the human immunodeficiency virus, the virus that causes AIDS. AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, the most advanced stage of HIV infection.
We will start making plans for hiring a replacement for this employee and ensure the family is taken care of when they die.
There will be no need to replace them immediately. We will not dismiss this employee because of their HIV status. A person can be HIV positive for many years and show mild symptoms. However, without treatment, HIV will eventually wear down the immune system of the afflicted, and they become open to what is known as opportunistic infections. It can take up to 10 years to progress from initial HIV infection to AIDS.
If it takes that long to develop the disease, why are we worrying about this now? Can't we just treat it like any other catastrophic illness? Why do we need a new policy?
Despite all the advances that have been made in terms of education and prevention, there is still stigma attached to HIV. We will not allow discrimination or stigmatization against any employee.
As I understand it, there are only a few, very specific ways in which someone can become infected with the HIV.
And that is one of the most important things to emphasize in our education and subsequent policy. There are 3 main ways of becoming infected: sexual contact, sharing needles for injection, and through blood products. Blood products are now screened for healthcare use, and the risk of transmission by this means is low. AIDS cannot be transmitted through casual workplace contact. We do not need to know how the person came to be infected. We need to know how to support them and allow them to continue to be a vital part of our workplace.
I agree. This is not just about dealing with a health issue. We're ensuring our organization is equipped with an effective human resources strategy focused on the well-being of our employees.
I have found that the stigma associated with HIV/AIDS in many corporations is related to sexuality. People associate HIV/AIDS with pre-existing sexual stigma associated with sexually transmitted diseases, homosexuality, promiscuity, and prostitution. Gender, when associated with women, it is seen as being transmitted from prostitutes, and when associated with men, negative stigma related to having multiple sexual partners, and racist assumptions about African sexuality as immoral behavior.
I can see that this is a serious issue. What can I do to help?
I plan to create an HIV/AIDS program to educate all employees and create an open dialogue, dispel myths, and encourage positive attitudes toward the issue. This program should also eliminate any unintentional discrimination embedded in our policies and practices.
I will do whatever I can to be of assistance. I can assure you, however, that our policies and practices are error-free.
We will need to take a closer look to ensure they do not pose barriers to any of our current or future employees. Also, we will need to review our pre-employment tests and our selection and termination procedures to ensure that individuals are not denied employment because of this issue. As well, we will monitor and regulate the working environment to ensure that those open about living with the disease are not treated unfairly and that this does not affect the productivity of our company.
Wow! It sounds like this HIV/AIDS program will require a lot of work and funding.
Although this process may be timely and costly, it will certainly outweigh the potential future costs of increased absenteeism, work disruptions, violence, and litigation costs that can arise if we do not deal with the issue right away. Many living with HIV/AIDS face multiple social barriers that may cause them to seek new opportunities or withdraw from work, causing our organization to lose valuable human capital.
Why do companies have to care about HIV/AIDS?
If not managed effectively, HIV/AIDS could result in declining productivity, rising rates of absenteeism and loss of skilled and experienced labor, which results in higher labor costs and weakened economic performance.
How can our company tackle this issue?
We can prevent new infections, reduce costs related to HIV/AIDS, and provide treatment with already infected.
These policies sound great, but how will it help people infected with HIV?
Employment offers significant benefits, and it has been found that employed persons with HIV/AIDS have greater income, lesser disease severity, and better quality of life than unemployed persons with HIV/AIDS. Our policies must adhere to the duty of accommodation.
What is the duty to accommodate?
According to the Canadian Human Rights Commission, the duty to accommodate refers to the obligation of an employer to take steps to eliminate disadvantage to employees resulting from a barrier that has or may have an adverse impact on individuals or groups protected under the Canadian Human Rights Act, or identified as a designated group under the Employment Equity Act. As our professionals, it is our job to create an environment free from discrimination.
How do you suppose we do that, Maria? According to the Ontario human rights legislation, all health assessment information should remain exclusively with the examining physician and away from an employee's personnel file. With maximum disclosure, no employees will know of their fellow colleagues' health status.
The employees do not have to know one of their colleagues is infected with HIV. It is illegal to share that information. However, we can accommodate for the ill employee by creating policies and plans which benefits everyone.
What do you have in mind?
We can give the employee the necessary time off for doctor's appointments. If they know about the appointments ahead of time, we will adjust the work schedule accordingly.
But what if the employee has to take weeks off? How will we help the employee then?
If the employee is away for up to 26 weeks, they are eligible for our short-term disability plan. The bank goes by a base salary with commission earnings. This means the STD benefit payment for the first 30 days is equal to the base salary. After 30 days, STD benefit payment is equal to the eligible earnings.
Won't there be more work with the employee missing for long periods?
And no. The employee taking a short-term disability leave won't be disadvantaged regarding work. We're able to communicate with them through emails, video chat, and the intranet system within the organization. Employees may have to take on a little more work than they were used to, but the workload will not be overbearing.
What about when HIV employees are working in the office?
We will ensure that we have a healthy environment, where we reduce the risk of dehydration and the spread of bacteria and infections. Our building contains many washrooms and resting areas close to our offices, in order to ensure that the type of work does not exceed our employees' endurance limits. We will provide a flexible work schedule and offer part-time opportunities. Our employees are able to create their own work schedules. We provide frequent break times in order to minimize harm caused by symptoms such as nausea and diarrhea.
It seems like we've got it all planned out, Maria. What other ways can we accommodate the employee?
We should be supportive of the employee. Whether they choose to disclose their health status is up to them. However, we should show our support and remind them they are always a part of the team at Bank of Ryerson. We can also inform employees of specific organizations in Toronto, which assist those living with HIV/AIDS.
What kind of help is available for employees with AIDS?
There are several different organizations that provide information, education, help, and support. In Toronto, there is the AIDS Committee of Toronto, Health Education AIDS Liaison, Canadian Aboriginal AIDS Network, and Toronto People with AIDS Foundation.
What would be the most relevant organization?
That depends on what you're looking for. The AIDS Committee of Toronto is probably one of the most important help organizations and provides an extensive variety of programs for patients in Toronto. They also offer support groups to all people living with HIV/AIDS. You can contact the AIDS Committee of Toronto if you have more questions. I will make available pamphlets, brochures, contact information of the agencies and groups who are available to offer assistance.
I will make it a priority this week to review and educate myself before we begin drafting and implementing the policy. I am looking forward to the challenge ahead of us. We have an opportunity to be groundbreaking. Peace out, Maria.